Oh, there we go. And welcome to You Had Me at Bigfoot. Alright, and then let me get... I'll go ahead and transition so everyone can look at my mug here real quick. But, yeah, welcome to episode 100. And if you can hear me, please let me know, because I would really like to know whether or not this is actually coming through. We've been having a bit of... what would you call that? Technical difficulties, right? Yeah, I know you're not supposed to talk or whatever. But, yeah, so I'll go ahead and tell that story while I'm waiting to see if anybody even responds to my comment here. As you can tell, well, you probably can't tell right at this moment, V is... Alright, so I think... Do me a favor, special guest, and cough, if you would. Yes, turn your head and cough. Okay, I think we're back. All right, so anyways, a lot of technical difficulties. We're trying to work them all out. So this is what happens. This is why I don't ever update my computer. I hope it's all sorted out now. Please let me know if it's sorted out in the chat. V no longer is on the show, unfortunately. He has moved on to bigger and better things. There is no bad blood between us, but if you did come... if you did come for V's jokes and wisecracks and that sort of stuff, I regret to inform you he is no longer with us. And as it were, we were going to end the show with that, and it was funny because we had joked originally that episode 100 was going to be the last one, and then in classic V fashion, he left at episode 99. So there wouldn't have even been an episode 100. However, I did some soul searching, some reflection, and tried to make a decision whether or not I would continue on with You Had Me at Bigfoot, or if we would just end it with that. And I came up with this idea that I had two names of people that I thought would be good co-hosts that could replace V. Not necessarily replace V, but step in V's place, just so that I don't want to hurt any feelings or anything, or put people on the spot here, or make them think that they have big shoes to fill. But I had two names that I thought would be a good fit for the show, and the first person that I thought, or that I had on my list, my number one choice, I called him and I said, "Hey, did you want to be the co-host on the show now?" And he said, "Let me think about it." He said, "Let me talk to some people." He had to talk to his people, and within a day or so, he came back and said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm in." But that was like 6 weeks ago, right? So this new host has been your new co-host for about 6 weeks. But there have been a series of unfortunate events. The first 2 weeks where he was getting his stuff ready so that he could be on the live stream weekly and having his own area. And then after that, it was... I think it's something that I did. Maybe I didn't want to do the show that week. And then the following week, we had a YouTube strike like the day before. And then we were supposed to wait. It was supposed to be 7 days, or, it's supposed to be 7 days. It was supposed to be a week of being suspended because of the strike, because of an episode that we did, which I don't even remember. It was the president episode where we undoubtedly made fun of transsexuals. And so it was a week, and the following week, 7 days later, we were preparing to go live, and all of a sudden it said, no, you still have 2 days on your strikes, or on your suspension. So let it be known that if you get a strike on YouTube, it's not a week, it's not a physical week, it is a business week that you are suspended. It's 7 business days. So that's why we didn't record 2 weeks ago. Last week, your new co-host here had his tooth removed and couldn't talk. And this week we are here, and that's why we're all fucked up with the technical difficulties. But we're here, and I'd like to introduce you to your new host, who you've known him from episodes past, Jerry. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Oh, 2 of me. Even better. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I don't think I could fill V's shoes. I do think that I could fill the big buttholes. You know.
The V's big butthole? You think you could fill his butthole?
Look, if I don't make some kind of gay joke or something to lessen the... Look, man, you guys had your own rhythm, and I hope that I can bring my own thing here. I do have to admit to everybody that the last time you had a strike, prior to this current one that we just dealt with, I was the guest.
You were. And you were the reason.
I was the reason, because we bullied John Podesta to death. I think it was. It was actually to death.
I've not seen him since, so he may very well have died because of the horrible things that you said.
That's right. He really finally thought hard about what he'd been doing, and he said, "You know what? I can't deal with myself." That was it. So hopefully we had the same kind of success here now that I'm on the show
full time. What was it you said? As I recall, when I was asking you about filling in for V and taking over his spot, you said, I could do it with my eyes closed and both hands tied behind my back. I think that was what you said, right? I said, I don't know, V's got some big shoes that you need to fill. And you said, your exact quote was, bitch, please. Right? Which I thought was weird because you said it kind of like a DMV lady, bitch, please, and then you said, I could do it with both hands tied behind my back and my eyes closed.
What was really strange for me was that I burst into song. Anything you could do, I could do better. And I was dancing, and that you liked it, really, was the spot I was surprised.
Why would that be a surprise to you? That's like the sort of thing. I feel like I've made it very clear in times past that that's the sort of stuff that I'm into, right?
I just didn't expect you to be as musical, know? That it's not like a cool rock riff version of something. It's the kind of thing that I do that my wife says she's going to divorce me over. But I guess...
I would never divorce you over that.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, this is, because... It's one of those things. You have this problem too, where you try to, you have a song in your head, so you get it out of your head, and then someone else is in the room, and that person now has it, and they hate you because it wouldn't have been there were it not for you. That's me doing that to my wife. Oh, with nothing but puns, musical puns is my biggest thing, and she's like, I can't. I have to leave the room because otherwise I'll be walking out a lot further.
See, the difference between me and you in that aspect is like the things that I do to my wife to drive her crazy aren't funny. And so when you say, oh, the things my wife would divorce me for, ha ha ha, tee hee hee, I'm like, the things my wife would divorce me for. You know what I mean? Like very serious, deadpan, these are things. We've been married for 15 years now. So I mean, 15 years. I was gonna say I hope I'm right, because if not that she watches this show, she never would, but somebody might tell her. So what this is normally the time, the routine, right, with the duologue. Sure. So that what we do during this time is typically like current events sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. What did you do? we're gonna pretend like you've been here all along because you have been the co-host for like the last 6 weeks. You just were too busy with other things.
I had too many teeth being removed.
Yeah, exactly. And so what did you do this week? What did you get into this week, Jerry, that you want to talk about during the duologue?
Yeah, so I guess, if we're not going to talk about current events for other people, because I might as well make it about me. So has anybody had an experience with, do you guys have Aspen Dental where you are? Is that a national chain?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody in the chat.
It's like the McDonald's of dentistry, right?
Dude, it really is. You call and they tell you that you're calling the particular office, but you're actually calling a call center. And it's like the one call center with people from America in it still, which is also jarring because you talk to someone who doesn't necessarily have your accent, but they're also from the country you're in. Like it's this, but you were calling the same city you're in. Like it's this weird thing. So yeah, all right. This was some months back, and then they, I hadn't been to the dentist in 15 years or so, and they did all these X-rays and stuff, and they're like, all right, you need 4 root canals. You need all this sort of stuff. And I said, well, I can't sell my kid. I just got her. You know what I mean? It'd be rude. She hasn't appraised in value yet. That'd be unfair to do to her. So
I think they get more valuable with time, right?
I think so. Not too much time. I mean, you have to. Oh fuck.
What about color? What about the models and the colors?
Well, that's just it. See, it depends on the taste of like what's hot at the moment, what's a rarity. Does this one have a club foot? Whatever. It's one of those kinds of things because we know the type of people who traffic in these kinds of areas.
What's his name? Let's get another strike today already.
Yeah. For how many minutes are we in? 10, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
It would be funny if we got a strike off the same guy.
That's what I was trying to get you to say his name.
Said it again. Well, I don't know. I like the idea of doing the show, so I was like, should I say it?
And we'll just I keep telling people this, like, if ever we get shut down, we'll just rebrand the show as You Had Me at Wendigo. And we'll just start over fresh, and no one will... We'll say we're totally unrelated to those bastards over at You Had Me at Bigfoot, and we're way less racist over here on You Had Me at Wendigo. Will be our shtick.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're a lot more careful with our mouths on this show, as opposed to those jackoffs who said that Tony Podesta and John Podesta trafficked children. It's totally... Look, we're different...
Apples and oranges. We would never, under any circumstances, accuse John or Tony Podesta or any of their friends, like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, perhaps even their daughter, Chelsea Clinton, Barack Obama, Michael Obama, who else? What's that guy's name? K-Pax, Kevin Spacey.
Chris Tucker was on the flight
list. Chris Tucker,
There was... the cellist with the very not American name. He was just in the Miss Ghislaine Maxwell. Speaking of, have you heard the news? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this gal?
You got it. You're doing it wrong. You got to go. Have you heard about this one? You got to
heard about this one.
Really wave your arms and let people know that you're about to drop a bombshell on them. Have you heard the news? That's what you got to do.
Well, let me tell you something there, Tom. Get out your Warner Brothers umbrella, because I'm about to drop a bomb on you. You ever heard about this? Just like
my little miniature umbrella.
Yeah, the Wile E. Coyote.
Right.
Yeah. You get out your Acme. Get out your Acme umbrella, because I got some bomb news to tell you.
I'm about to rain on your parade here.
That's it. Raining Man and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking in children. Hey.
See, that's what we need to do. We need to write the musical of Ghislaine Maxwell and how she trafficked children. We could go on Broadway with that.
Dude, could you imagine? I'm thinking of this right now. Like, imagine... This is an awful thought. God help me.
Well, that's what the show is about. You know that.
Yeah. Dude, imagine thinking about this, right? You're Ghislaine Maxwell. You're the one with the money. You're the one with the prestige. You're the one with the TED Talk, right? Which no one wants to talk about. There's the TED Talk where she talked about oceans and stuff. And imagine you come in second place. Do you understand my vibe? Everybody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was.
Right.
T-shirts were made, hashtags, the whole thing. And meanwhile, she's sitting there going, well, I don't know what else I have to do to get some recognition around here.
You know what that is? I can tell you what happened. I can tell you what happened.
Okay.
This is the human trafficking wage gap. That's what that is. Because he's a male,
70% of the recognition.
she only gets 70% of the human trafficker recognition. So that's I just solved it for you. But yeah, no, I get it. But that's why she didn't kill herself or let herself be killed in prison, because she wanted the spotlight. So.
Oh, and but how embarrassing is that, right? Okay, I'm finally going to have my day in the sun. I'm going to have my day in court. I've got my hair done all nice and gelled, which we know what that is. The security guard gave me some of his spunk, and I'm feeling
Jerry.
Bitter. Well, we all know what the truth is. So, and then she comes to court, right? And she goes, "Well, who's that next to the stenographer?" Oh, and they go, "Oh yeah, well, there are no cameras allowed in."
This is a federal proceeding, Miss Maxwell.
Yeah, so the best you're gonna get are these drawings, and we've hired this local handicapped woman off the pier who was doing a caricature
off of Fiverr. It's somebody off of Fiverr.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh, poor
Ghislaine. Fiverr woman. Yeah, she sent in just the balloon head caricatures of past presidents.
You know what the best part is there's some guy, right, under our imaginary version of this where it's somebody off of Fiverr and not like a professional who's normally assigned to that office, and who's done it for years and probably was like there for the 1980s, any like some very like high profile cases. But this woman off of Fiverr, there was a guy, right? Because there's always a guy. It's not, you never like tell a story about a chick who was doing something. You always tell a story about a guy. There was a guy.
It was a woman.
Even when it was a woman, right?
There was this guy, Diane. Listen.
There was this fella, Diane. He was an accountant, right? He's the CPA. He went to school. He got his business administration degree, and then he went and got his CPA, so that he could, he thought he was going to go and become like the accountant of the stars, or like the high and mighty, the powerful, right? He thought he was going to be SDNY's CPA, and he ended up getting brought on to just make the decisions, the day-to-day bean counter decisions there at the courthouse, the federal courthouse, where he would have to, and he doesn't even get to make the decisions. He has to find 3 different quotes from people on Fiverr who can come in and do the paintings for the federal courtroom. And so he finds these 3 choices, and then he has to go and present them to the guy who really doesn't care at the end of the day, because he's like, you don't get to decide, but you're gonna bring them to me so I can belittle you, and I can show you how little your opinion means to me, right? So like when he comes in, he's like, all right, I've got these 3, I've got this one right here. Is Janice so and so? She's done it for 10 years. And then the guy behind the desk, he's like, I don't care. Any one of them is fine. Just do the second one. He's like, do you want to hear anything about the second one? No. Do you want to hear the name of the second one? No. Like anything about them? What if it's like can you please just hear me out? This is like my whole day. I've been working on this for weeks. And he's like, nah, just do the second one. And then so the dude goes back and he calls up this handicapped woman on the pier who like happens to have a Fiverr profile, and he's like, hey man, guess what? Oh, you're not going to believe the news that I've got for you, is what he says. He has to do that because that's part of his duty description. But yeah, that's how it all played out, I imagine.
He tries to make it more exciting for both him and them, you know? So he's like,
well, she's a cripple.
I hope you got your raincoat on near that pier because I'm about to drop a big old kablooey in the ocean. You go and get wet.
Are you sitting down? I know you are because you're handicapped. But go ahead and sit down extra hard because I got some news for you and you're not going to believe it. You've been hired to come in and to paint Ghislaine Maxwell's face in various poses as she looks around the courtroom. And with the same people sitting next to him. So you're going to do one a day of the different clothing, and that's it. And then you're going to go home and you get your $5 every day. Because it's Fiverr. So at the end of the day, he's just going to shell out $5 for the one thing. And that's where she fucked up, and she should have done a better job of, like, writing her description, right?
Yeah,
so,
dude, is it bad too, by the way, that the whole time we're talking about this, I'm actually just imagining more ways that the guy telling this handicapped woman the news would try to be excited, like more phrases.
I want to hear this. Like, I want to hear more.
I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I want to hear more about how this guy made his day and her day at once, you know? And it's just, I'm hearing you talk, but in my mind, I'm hearing...
You're hearing what, Jerry? You're hearing what, Jerry?
I didn't hear you.
There you are.
I'm hearing what?
Are you okay, Jerry? Can you guys at least still hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me, and we will, let me see if we can work this out real quick. Can you guys hear Jerry now? Are we back?
Are we back? Tom good, Jerry not.
Well, it's also... They're a few seconds behind us. But anyways.
Oh, okay.
So here's... so I want to hear, like you were saying, what are some of these other examples? First of all, I want to hear, like, all the panic, because as I was watching your screen, I have your screen over here, and I could see you panicking as you froze and then started to come back, and I could see the panic in your face. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here watching it play out, and, you know, it was a lot of fun for me. Okay, so they can hear us both now. So it was a lot of fun for me to watch that, but unfortunately, I don't... Maybe they could, and we'll see on the replay when I go through it and hear it out. We'll see what you looked like. But yeah, it looked like there was some chaos on your end. But let's hear, did you lose all the jokes that you came up with in that time while you were scrambling, or do you still have some examples of the CPA of the stars reaching out to the Fiverr on the docks? Do you have anything from them?
Well, the one I can remember now is... But I hope you got 2 of those oxygen masks. Put them on your ears because I'm about to blow your head up with this information. You got the job.
That one looks, or that one, I would almost say that one reaches, but it doesn't. It stops just short of that line. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that's what I mean. It's absurd, right? You start at the absurd. Okay, taking the two and putting them on their ears.
Because why would you do that?
Because why would you do that? And then the second part is, what is going on in these masks? It's oxygen.
It works, though. Like I said, it stops just short of the absurd, the too absurd. Yep.
That's it. Yeah, you can't go any further than that. I'm not sure where you would go from there either, by the way. I'm not...
Mike says it looks like, apparently, when you were panicking, he says, it looks like you farted and it was wet. So...
I'm, Tom, I have to admit something.
We were talking about this before the show started, right? Somebody shitting their pants. And...
Yeah. And here's, I just have to admit that Tom is a very good friend of mine, and he completely throttled the show because he knows my oops face. My oopsie poopsies face. He knows it. He's seen it, and
I smelled it.
Right, he's been in proximity, and he was nice enough to throttle the show and act like we were having audio issues, when really I was having a poopsie oopsie.
But in reality, Jerry's shit in the lab.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the robot has killed itself behind me, Ex Machina style.
Your background really reminds me of that Dexter's Laboratory song. Remember when he's like, "Uh-oh, Dexter's in the lab again." Remember that song?
Yeah, I think so.
It's one of my favorites. It's uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again. That's the lyrics of the chorus, and it's a really good song. I recommend it. It was on Cartoon Network for a long time. I was watching Cartoon Network well into my late 30s, and the because I still in fact watch Cartoon Network, and not when my kids are around. Yeah. But I was a teenager when that song came out. I was almost 18 years old, and I would often, I would sit around, I'd be like, "Oh, it's that Dexter's Laboratory song coming on." I would get very excited about that. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to go listen to Back to the Lab Again from Cartoon Network's 2001, whatever, little...
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, that's the thing. I still do enjoy Cartoon Network, though, to this day. I watch, I watch it more than I should. But I do watch a lot of Adult Swim, but, when it's on Adult Swim, I don't feel like changing the channel just because the time of day changes, right? And then I'll watch Teen Titans Go. I might watch a little Craig of the Creek. Who knows? So what I want to do is we're already coming up on the 36-minute mark. And granted, we've only had about, 13 minutes of content. The rest of it has been whatever else.
Are you saying that I debased myself with a wet fart, and somehow that's not worthy of?
Not at all.
Or is that the 16 minutes of?
That's part of the 13 minutes. I was counting that.
Okay.
What I wasn't counting was the whole bit with the you better put those oxygen masks up on your ears. I don't count that because I didn't think it was as funny as the shitting your pants in the lab. No. What I do want to do is. First we have to say hello to the people in the chat, and I know you remember this. We welcome everyone specifically by name in the chat, and then we do a toast to whatever's hot at the moment, and sure. We decide. And as I'm talking, anybody in the chat who has anything that they want us to cheers to or toast to, please let us know in the chat, and maybe I'll use that. And we'll decide when the time comes. But it has been a long time, and I don't know if V's out there, and if he's listening secretly or if he's listening later. I do want to say hi to V if he does happen upon this episode. And I do want to say hi to the FBI guy in the chat. But let's say hi to the people who are, in fact, in the chat. Mike in Manitoba, your face, who, I don't know who he is, but, he opened us up with episode 100. He was probably more excited than we were, as a matter of fact. Megabit Band
at that time, probably.
Yeah, no, we were still trying to figure out the audio situation, which we still haven't figured out. I'll have to deal with that this week. Megabit Banshee, who I'm, again, I get to watch lots going on with Megabit Banshee. I don't want to give away too much, but I love being able to watch his family as they develop. And you know all about this. He recently had a child, but you know all that as you're a new dad, and you got the new mom, and you don't get to see it because you're kind of like on the inside, but the rest of us get to watch it and cheer you on. That's what we're doing right now with Megabit. He's got a brand new little baby, and like I said, I'm loving watching the images on Instagram as he gets to be a new daddy, and his wife gets to be a new mommy. Monster Radio, welcome Ephraim Flores and Joseph Byrer. Ephraim Flores, I'm going to get it right one of these days. Ephraim Flores. I wrote it down wrong, and it's no longer on my, my dashboard here. But apparently he's related to Megabit. So the funny thing is, like, half the people who are watching right now are in cahoots with Megabit. So, like, half of our audience is Megabit or Megabit adjacent. And also, welcome Buzz, who has just made himself known. And we have the superfan who is watching and drinking a bottle of wine right now. I want to make sure that we say welcome to him as well. So, yeah, see, and that's the sort of attitude that I was hoping you would bring to this show. A welcoming, you just jump in on top. Hey, welcome. I'm here too. Yeah. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, look, we are nothing but inclusive here at this show.
What about the transgenders?
Do we have a... No, we don't have enough money. No, I guess we don't.
I tried to cut it away to the J-Rab thing when you were trying to, when you were doing the distancing yourself from that question. I tried to pull away for you, but...
Well, I don't want to get in trouble with corporate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
I just started here, and I don't want to... I'm trying to be the good company man,
I want to... what was it you said? I just want to play ball. I'm just here to play ball.
That's it. Just here to play ball. You know what? I got a bat. There's 4 bases. Let's do this thing, And after that, it's above my pay. It's that's up to God and the corporate.
All right, so here's what we'll do. Here's what I think we're going to do. I'll do the shot, and I feel like the topic that we're covering here, the thing about this episode is we can kind of be like, oh, well, it doesn't have to be about anything because it's our 100th episode, so we can just be like, oh, it was our 100th episode special. Or... because the topic that we're covering today, I don't think will necessarily cover an hour, we can kind of goof off a little bit. And I know we have a game ready that we're going to do here in a minute, but I think I don't want you to feel pressured like we have to do anything. But I don't want you to feel pressured as if like I'm the adult trying to coax a teenager off of the internet to I've been watching that Pop Squad, which by the way I told Megabit about. I said, hey, Jerry told me about this fucking Pop Squad thing, and it's really good. I've watched through most of his episodes now, and you know what I love about Pop Squad is it's like first person shooter, right? Because he's got the GoPro right here, so you're always seeing his hands coming out and talking or whatever. He's like,
it's like you're.
I just want you to stay an arm's reach away from me, because if you get any closer, we're gonna have a problem, okay? And so all you see is those hands.
That when you're outside and he's got the light behind him, like from a street light or like from a parking garage or something, you just see these hands. It's like this, and then there's nothing but shadows too. So you just see like this hooded tattooed dude doing this at a guy who is there there to meet like a 12-year-old for candy or whatever.
Right, for candy, as if that's how people lure people out. Oh,
dude,
so
what I can't believe with those is how little they actually try. It makes me wonder, like, what has the game? Okay, I guess what I'm
finish
trying
that
to say,
sentence.
I guess what I'm trying to say is it? It can't be that kids are so stupid, right? Like there's been obviously very little motivation for these predators to up their game. You understand? Like they're not making it. It's not that much more appealing to be an old predator on like I don't know, Grinder or something, right? Like one of those.
Yeah, whatever the app is that he happens to catch that
using.
one.
Yeah, which is ironic. Like some kid goes on. What? Hey, Davey, what? What app are you on? Oh, I'm on Touch a Kid.
That's how they get you. And you make a good point here.
Is it real? Yeah, it turns out it's real.
You make a really good point, because this is something that is systemic across all of the predator shows, the predator catching shows, right? Is like, it's never like a really... You never see somebody on there who's like, you could tell that perhaps they live a life of academia elsewhere, other than... Because we only see, they came here because they said, I can't wait to fuck your tiny butthole, right? Like, that's what we hear of them. And then when they present themselves, they're just a train wreck of a human being, because they're in a panic, they've got all this stuff going on, and they don't speak well in that moment, right? Because they're in trouble. And so all we have is their disgusting chat that they think is very private, and then the moment that they're caught. We don't know what's going on elsewhere, like when they're not doing either of those things. But the thing is, never once has there been somebody who presented themselves who you were like, wow, this is a smart dude. Like, I bet that this dude is currently a tenured professor at Yale. Like, it's never that guy, right?
No, and I think I mentioned this to you off the air. Well, of course, off the air.
Everything has been off the air.
Yeah, until now. There was a guy on the Pop Squad show who lives in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And it was this weird thing to see him on the... I mean, obviously, like, first you're like, how do I know that guy? Like, and you find this out, like, while your wife's pregnant. You're like, wait a minute, what? How do I know this guy, right? And then you realize, like, it's in your brain, but it goes back there. You go on with the rest of your day. And then you go to your local Best Buy. And he's checking everybody at the door. And you're like, what? Fucking what? And then after that, you walk around your neighborhood one night, and he's just taking out his trash up the street from you. And you're like, and you know what's the craziest part about that, dude? Here's the craziest part. The dude on the Pop Squad show lives around the corner from the guy my friends and I used to affectionately call Mike the Molester, who one time tried to get me and my buddy Wyatt to come into his house after school. He's like, oh, you guys just got out of school. You want to come in the house and I'll, like, make you guys sandwiches, or I don't know. Oh, no. We were looking on his... This is what it was. I used to do a bit on this in my stand-up. The guy used to put wooden ducks on his front lawn. You know, like the ones that spin in the wind. So we were, like, staring at his weird fucking ducks, right? And he comes outside and he goes, you boys like those ducks? I make them myself. You want to come inside into the wood shop in the basement? And my buddy Wyatt goes, yeah, we'll come in. And I fucking look at him like, dude, we're going in Mike the Molester's house. He goes, hey, consider it a challenge. There's two of us. He's a little old. And we're like, dude. And this is what peer pressure can do. And I don't know if I should be saying this to, like, new parents or what. But, like, whoever's that new parent out there, keep in mind how powerful peer pressure is. Yeah.
He's got a name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, Megabit. I forget. All right. Let me tell you something, Megabit. There's going to come a day when your child may be with a friend who has a stronger personality And eventually they agree to go into Mike the Molester's house into the basement where he makes, and we did this, by the way. We went in his basement where he made the wooden ducks, and then we sat in his kitchen and drank soda and left.
You guys didn't
And
even get molested?
Well, this was the thing. I actually said to Wyatt afterwards, I was like, so I went to a molester's house and all I got was this can of soda.
And all I got was like 1 or 2 fingers.
Dude, I was like, in my stand-up, I said, all I got was this wooden duck, because that's funnier. But the truth is, we went in there.
I went in there for a dude fuck, and I ended up coming away with a wooden duck. you have to swap the letters.
It has to be whimsically rhythmic, I went to the molester for a boy fuck. Instead, I walked out his house with this wooden duck.
Yeah, there you go. No, and I'll tell you why that's not going to happen to Megabit's child is because if not for the dozen or so bigger, tougher Hispanic guys that are already in that child's presence, I have already vowed that I would give my life for Megabit's child. Okay. Yeah, so if ever he thinks that nobody is watching his child, think again, because I am a watchful guardian, or a silent protector, a watchful guardian, a dark knight, for exclusively Megabit's child, and that's it. Anybody else's child is fair game, but Megabit's child, I will not. I will be on all sorts of balconies watching out under the cover of darkness as they make their way home, and until they get into the door, and then I'll go on about my business or whatever. But that's my thing. That's what I do, and that's the services that I offer. Call me 555 watchful guardian, silent protector, dark knight.
You had me at cowl.
Yeah, except for I wear a mask that's like the opposite. It's just like this. So it's just like a regular like mask that people wear now, right? So I'm like the opposite Batman, but I just wear this mask.
You got the bandana.
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, if anyone, if ever you wondered, I do have this thing right here.
I was hoping somewhere in my heart. It was funny because, I live in one of those states where different cities have gotten the opportunity to make choices about whether you have to. But generally it sucks, and you do. Well, you do. And my father-in-law picked out his, new season jacket, like old jacket, but, it's winter coming, let's get this jacket. And he found the bandana, and he was like, all right, I don't wear this shit because it's not cool, but if in the event there's some emergency, it's staying in my jacket, and I will do it.
Yeah, you got to have them in your pockets just in case. Like the only time I've ever worn one this whole pandemic was in like hospitals or dentist office, or if it's like a medical facility, I'll wear it. Only because I know that they can be like, no, you need to fuck off because you're not like, this is a medical institution. Like, you can't do that. Okay, so let's do the shot. And Megabit, his reaction to your story was, bruh.
Yeah, I saw that.
So just, I don't know what that means, but whatever. This right here, this is an interesting thing. Not that we're like an alcohol review channel, but that's kind of what we've become. This is the pickle shot. It's a dill pickle vodka, and it's terrible. But
that seems like a horrible idea.
It's I've had some before. We did a shot on Thanksgiving, my wife and I. We who are very much in love, and I like to say that because I guarantee she's like wondering at certain points. She's like, I bet he goes on there and all these girls or whatever are messaging him, which is A, not true, but B, right. Like I talk about her and I say my wife and whatever. So if I can like elevate that and be like my wife, who I am very much in love with, and I can like force that on all the groupies or whatever. That way she never has an excuse, and when it comes time for when she divorces me naturally for gaining way too much weight and not taking care of myself, I can be like, listen, you can't use the podcast as an excuse or whatever, because I was very publicly affectionate about you. But yeah, we did it. We did a shot of this for Thanksgiving, and it was terrible. But I wanted to share in that awfulness with those of you loyal fan at home and my mother, the fan and my mother, fan and or my mother. But Joseph Byrer wants to cheers to Edgar Madison Welsh, who's the guy who, if I recall, he's the one who shot up the Pizzagate or whatever. He shot up Pizza.
Oh, is that the
Comet
guy?
Pizza.
Good.
I don't know that. I guess he must have been released by now, right? Because he was sentenced to 4 years, and this was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
So I don't really want to cheers to that guy because his dad is an FBI or a CIA agent. He's a spook. So I'm not sure I'm into that, Joseph, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. I will cheers to... Did you have anything you'd like to cheers to as we move on to the next part of the show?
Oh, man. I kind of wanted to just go a little bit sweet and say, to new beginnings.
To new beginnings. That's the best one. I always cheers to new beginnings. As many times as I have clinked glasses with my wife, it is always to new beginnings. Because, and it's become a joke after 15 years... Like, we're clearly beyond to new beginnings. But it's funny. So to new beginnings. To Jerry being on the show. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy. A lot of people were very happy to hear. I didn't tell anybody. I told one person that you were going to be the new host. Well, I told V, because he asked if I had replaced him. And I said, yeah, I told him that it was you. And he said, good choice. Solid choice was what he said. And then,
given the text messages I got from him, I didn't expect that.
it's just like the gun emoji, the knife emoji, the skull emoji 3 times or whatever. And then I told Jake Hoob, and that's it. But then, the people who were surprised, which I had totally forgotten that there were going to be people who were surprised that you were the new host. They were like, there was a lot of very positive, oh, nice, he's a funny bastard. And then Megabit did the wavy hands or whatever. So... Yeah, so people are pleased to have you here. I'm pleased to have you here. It's awesome to have you here. I hate being I've always said this whenever you came on the show. I hate being the 3rd funniest person on the show. I'm back to being the 2nd funniest person on the show, and I'm totally okay with that. So, to Jerry, welcome to the show, Jerry.
Well, thank you.
Yuck.
And even though I drank something, I don't feel like I drank the right thing. So next time, I will make sure to have... We have these... If nothing else, we have bottles of wine. My in real life, an in real life person, every year gives a bottle of wine to my wife and I, and
my wife and me.
Oh yeah, she gives it to me. Yes, my wife and me, and never once did we really ask for it. Like I'm always like, oh, this is nice, thank you, and you would think like. When you don't come back and say, oh, it tastes like, oh, we opened that bottle, it tasted so good. They're all still unopened. So there's just 3 bottles to 4 bottles. I don't remember how many bottles of wine just in my kitchen, completely unopened for years and years now. Just so maybe I'll bring a little class to this show. And
bring some wine.
I'll drink some wine. And or I'll match you in shitty drinks. And I had done a show called Pint of Comics more than a couple times. And one of the time, it's drinking and talking about comic books and comic related stuff. And so one time, have you ever had Malorts?
No.
Oh, dude. Okay. It's awful. And they know it. That's the other thing. They have embraced that their product is shit. And so it's like kind of like that, it's like that band who knows they're not good. Everybody knows they're not good, but they go hang out and, they're like...
oh, yeah, Green Day.
Right, except they're like, oh, we're going to mess this up, but you guys know that already. Right?
Oh, so you had me at Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It may perfectly be for the show. And I think if we get some Malorts, we should try that. And because that was like one of the host John's favorite thing to like do to new guests. He was like, "This is fucking awful, and if you could drink this and focus on what we're talking about, we'll be fine. You'll be fine."
It looks terrible. Jepson's.
It is.
Jepson's Malort liquor.
Malort. Yes, exactly.
All right.
I'm telling you, dude. I think if we can get that, you and I, maybe next week, we'll do a shot together of the worst shit ever.
I don't. It reminds me of Lafroig, right? Have you ever drank Lafroig?
No, but that sounds awful.
Yeah, it's a Scotch whiskey, very not good. I like it. I do like it. I'm one of the guys who like you either love it or you've never had it, or you had it and you're like, oh, right. Those are the three options, right? And there's nobody who's like, oh, I had it. It was okay. It had a distinct taste of blah 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 blah. I'll never have it again, though. It's either you love it, never had it, or who could drink this? And like that was their gimmick, is they had like people reviewing it, and they would say, "Oh, it tasted like licking the inside of the devil's purse." Or it was like eating an entire ashtray, with no teeth, And that was I enjoy it. I drink a lot of it. My wife keeps threatening, and I hope that she doesn't, because I love it. But I drink.
She wants to throw it out on you?
No, not at all. The opposite, in fact. I drink the 10-year stuff.
By a case. Oh, I see.
And because I'm cheap, right? I'm not I'm not one of those pretentious drinkers. Or I'll drink with. Yeah. I mostly drink here on the show. That's it. I really only drink on Wednesdays. The only other times I ever drink are I'll have a beer with my neighbor, maybe once or twice a week, and I haven't in a long time. Or I'll have a friend of mine from church, he comes over, or I'll go over to his house, and we'll have, a couple glasses of whatever. And that's it. I'm not like a guy who will, and I know a lot of people who I know and love, who will drink a lot and to excess, and then they can function or whatever the next day, and they're whatever, and they're smarter men than I am. But, like, that's their thing. They enjoy doing that.
Sure.
I can't sit down and drink a bottle of whatever and then feel good about myself. I think I'd feel guilty.
Is that it, by the way? Is that it? I'm feeling there's a connection between the example you just gave and our critique of the guys that are on Pop Squad.
What,
Because you just said, oh, I know a lot, like, not that your friends that you know fall in this category, but I'm saying, you said, oh, there are these people out there that drink to excess, or they drink very high class stuff. They're busy. You know what I'm saying?
Was I describing a pedophile? Like, was I describing human traffickers?
What I was getting at was that maybe the more distinguished, because we keep saying that the guy in sweatpants at the subway waiting to pick up an 11-year-old didn't look the most put together. Didn't have the theory of relativity under his arm.
No, he hadn't quite figured out string theory yet for the sciences.
No, he's like, yo, I got sun-kissed.
No, but let me finish. I
apologize to our Coca-Cola sponsor.
No, yeah. As if Coca-Cola would sponsor us. We're more of a Diet Lightning or a Mountain Lightning kind of show. But no, but that's the thing. It's like these people who are way harder workers or much smarter than I am, they drink way more than I do. And that, gets me thinking, like, maybe I should be drinking more often. But no, she keeps threatening, because I'm a 10-year drinker. I'm a 10-year Lafroig drinker. And she was talking recently about, I think I got quarter cask. I got a quarter cask bottle, and then I've got the select version of it. They recently, at her place of employment, which I don't know that I've said on the show, but if I haven't already, then I'm going to keep it a secret, and if I have already, then you already know. But at her place of business, she has recently discovered that, or they recently received, like, the 25-year version of Lafroig. But it is like $700. Like, it is very expensive.
Wow.
And she threatened to get it for me for Christmas, and I said, no, please do not get that for me for Christmas. Like, that is way too much money for. I mean, I would absolutely enjoy it, and I would. You'd find me like with like one of those Capri Sun straws, sipping up every last dribble of it. But I said, no. I said, don't. And she said, well, maybe for graduation, because I graduate this summer. Believe it or not, anybody who's been watching, and there she is right now. Speak of the devil. Anyone who has been watching since, see, I shouldn't have said devil. She's giving me a look now. Anybody who's been watching for the last 3 years knows that I started doing seminary 3 years ago. 2.5 years ago or so. And I am coming up on graduation. This is a 3-year program, a 96 semester hour program. So
coming up.
Yeah,
I
want everyone to sing the Vitamin C song graduation when that time comes. But no, she said that fine. Then for graduation, and I said no, because that's again, that's way too much money to be spending on me, and is my opinion on the matter. So, but
do you feel like you could ever spend
25 years? Wow, that's got to be delicious.
Spend that kind of money on a booze?
I don't know, and that's why I think I'm so adamant that she not do it, is because that is a lot of money for alcohol, especially for something. That would be something, I'll tell you what, that would be something that I probably have a glass of with my friend from church, and then I hold it over his head for the rest of our friendship. I'll be like, remember that time that I invited you over for Lefroy, 25-year, $700, and you enjoyed it, and we smoked a cigar over it? And I'd probably pair it with a very expensive cigar, because that's what we do. Is we smoke a cigar, and we drink scotch or wine or whatever. That's our thing. So let's move on, because I know we're past the hour mark, and people are ready to go ahead and turn off the show if we don't get funny. That's the thing. If we're not funny by the first hour, then people start tuning out. So
right.
I know you said you wanted to start off with a bang, and you wanted to come in and start the show both guns blazing, and I said, have I got the game show for you? So I have something that, and what I'll do is I'll real quick I'll give you an example of what we're going to be talking about this game show, to understand it, to give you some context. And I know you did some research this week, because I gave you that much. I said the game show is going to be about Yemen's Barhout well, right? So it's located in Yemen, and did you do some research on this?
I did look at a couple articles. A lot of it, actually, it's kind of funny. I don't know where you got the motivation or the inspiration, but I noticed that there was some activity there in the last couple of months, actually.
Yep, that's where it came up. It popped up on me, and so that's where it kind of presented itself. And I don't remember what I was. Maybe it was on Facebook, and it said, "Hey, check out these reels." I'm a reel whore. Like, I'll look at the reels, and I'll watch the reels, and before I know it, I'll be 30 minutes deep into a reel binge, and I think that's where this came from. But if you look at this, and I don't want you to say any words of what it reminds you of, but I want you to just look at this Yemen's well of Barhout, and just drink it in, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, seriously.
It's a little much.
Dude, I showed my wife that picture, and then subsequent pictures thereafter, and she said, that first picture doesn't even really do it justice. It just looks like, like a popped zit or something.
Yeah, it just looks like a gaping zit hole.
Yeah,
right?
Like you had this big black head, and it just kept oozing out or whatever, and then there's a hole still left in your pore is still wide open. Yes, we're avoiding saying what we could be saying, but
it's a desert butthole.
Yeah, it's a desert butthole, guys. Come on.
But look at that. Yeah, it's a gaper. Like you said, I didn't even. I'll tell you what. I never thought about that. And I watch a lot of like zit popping videos and like cyst popping videos. But yeah, this is what those folks on TikTok and those folks on Reddit popping or whatever. I forget what the subreddit. I follow it. I'm not distancing
Really?
myself from it, but I follow it, and I saw, like I said, I'm not distancing myself from it, but it does look like that. It looks like a bit of a gaper. Now I found this picture here, and I thought it was a beautiful picture. To contrast, I want there to be some kind of dichotomy of like this beautiful picture and the game show that we're about to play. Okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this game show, I've designed a game show based off of when I discovered. So this is what happened, and this is the turn of events that led to this game show. And I hope everyone's listening very carefully because this is going to be. I thought it was the funniest thing, and I was laughing to myself about it. And my wife and my kids happened to be there and I think I was doing the dishes or something, and I was laughing as I was thinking of this game. And my wife was like, "What are you thinking? What are you laughing about?" And I said, it's this game that we're going to do on the show. I said, but I can't talk about it with Xander around, right? Xander, my oldest son. I said, I can't talk about it with my kids or with the kids around because it's extremely inappropriate. But, so this game show that we're going to play, it's called Yemen's Well of Barhout or Artificial Neovaginal Reconstruction. Okay? And the purpose of the game, no, hear me out. The purpose of the game is I'm going to say something. I'm going to say a fact about, I'm just going to say a fact. And you have to determine whether I'm talking about Yemen's Well of Barhout or if I'm talking about the Artificial Neovaginal Reconstruction, right?
You know,
so
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually very thrilled. Not only that was your choice on how to do this, but I'm like, I guess what I'm saying is I can't believe I'm definitely like when you said what you just said and I heard description rather than picture, I was like, all right.
I can deal with that.
I was like, not only am I going to see these pictures, but we're going to lose the channel. Like,
right.
In
That's
one
how
fell swoop, it's going to be over.
That's how we get strike number 2 in 90 days, and we're not trying to do that yet.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right.
So good news.
It's for the salvage of the show.
Good news, by the way. There is a reward to this game. Okay?
Okay, yes. All right.
And it's not anything, I don't want you to panic or whatever. It is something that I know that you're going to enjoy. All right?
Okay.
It is a mint condition copy of the video cassette tape Kangaroo Jack, a $14.57 value.
That's awesome.
Still in the wrapper, if you can believe it. If you win, you will get this brand new-ish mint condition Kangaroo Jack. All right, I'm actually going to keep it here because like in game shows when they're like, "All right, this final question for the reward, Kangaroo Jack."
I don't think the audience can see it, but I'm going to give you this.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
There you
tell
go.
me. Ready?
Yep.
That's how excited I am.
All right. So what I'll do is as I'm asking the question, I will have it on my face and then I'll switch it to your face. Take your time. Okay? Because you need to, and we're not Jeopardy here. You don't have to answer specifically in a certain way. Do your best to say whether it's Yemen's Well of Barhout or the Artificial Neovaginal Reconstruction. Okay? So just do your best.
Can I just go Yemen or artificial? Can we just
do your best to give me a little more, just to be specific?
Okay.
Wait a minute. If you want to write it down, that's fine.
Favor. Yeah, because I can remember the Yemen part. That's not as difficult.
That's not the issue. Yeah, it's the.
Yeah, that's not the issue. Okay, so artificial. Hold on. Official, right? Mm-hmm. Artificial. You were saying.
Mm-hmm. Artificial neovaginal.
Oh, neovag. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is this? Do you think they named it after
the Matrix? Yes, I do.
The Matrix brothers who
I think that's where they got the name, actually.
They became girls, and they're like, all right, it's a neovaginal then.
You know, I wonder how much trouble it was for them to, like, adjust the credits to where instead of saying the Wachowski brothers to now saying the Wachowski sisters, I wonder how much, like, what the logistical impact was.
Did they go back and do it?
I don't know. We'll never know.
I haven't. I'd have to watch The Matrix again.
It's a different guy. It's a different set of brothers, I think.
No, I know, but you and I both know, in a world where, like, George Lucas will go back and put in new scenes into the old movies, there's no reason why. Like, imagine the negotiations. Sisters.
Oh, that'd be awful.
We want you to do a new Matrix movie because we have HBO Max and we really want to bust out of the gate with this. Okay, but we need access. Access to what? The first 3 Matrix movies. Yeah, but it's your movie. What do you mean?
Don't you guys have the original cut?
Yeah, why do you not?
Don't you guys? Did you just call us guys?
Oh my god.
Oh, they just misgendered the Wachowski sisters.
Oh my goodness.
Lord.
You know what? I heard that they didn't invite Lawrence Fishburne. And for that it's
because he's a terrible bigot. We all know that Lawrence Fishburne is a terrible, disgusting bigot. Mm-hmm. All right, so
Speaking of which, if you look at this,
we're just going to stop it right there, and I'm just going to let that be a cut. No, please go ahead. I thought you were going to try to cancel that. Was why I was trying to stop you.
No, I was going to say, in addition, if you look at
in
Lawrence Fishburne's face, there's actually a replica Yemen hole.
A to scale Yemen hole well of Barhout.
That's right. So artificial neovaginal.
Correct. Reconstruction. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then Yemen's well of Barhout.
Yes.
You got that one? Or you could just say Yemen's well, because I assume there's only one.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it's a sinkhole, and there are sinkholes everywhere, but this is like the one.
This is it. Yeah, this is Yemen's one sinkhole.
If you look at one of those pictures again, though, by the way, it just looks like a bunch of pock marks with it open.
Yeah, let me jump back.
Pock marks in hair, you know.
Let me. I can actually jump back to one of the. How's this one?
It's that one.
This is the one that looks like a bee hole.
Dude, it looks like a bunch of zits that were popped already around the new one. You know what I mean?
So this is the fresh one. Yeah.
Right. This is the fresh one, and the other ones are being hidden by hair covering, and you know.
This is a disgusting conversation that I'm not willing to have. Now let's play our game: Yemen's well of Barhout or artificial neovaginal reconstruction. Let's take it back to a G rating.
Dude, are you seeing this picture? No, wait. The old one, the pretty one. I didn't realize there was a man in it.
What are we talking about? Oh, the pretty one. Yeah. Hold on.
The pretty picture.
There's
a man.
The pretty well hole.
Yeah, dude. I just looked at that and I was like, imagining do you have my cell phone charger?
Did I leave my wallet down there? How
Sorry.
deep is it? I don't know.
That's what she said.
It's just some guy echoing to himself, telling jokes. Which is like he's like a kindred spirit of ours, right?
Yeah, I would go to that edge and go, my wife.
I would do. I don't have a good one for this. I can't top that. All right. So here's the first question. Now remember, the rules of the game are simple. I say a fact, and you tell me whether or not I'm talking about Yemen's well of Barhout or an artificial neovaginal reconstruction, like you would find on a transgender male to female. Okay?
Yes, right.
Question number 1. Located in Al Mahara, Yemen.
Oh, I thought there was more. Okay. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say Yemen's well of Barhout.
Very good. Very good. That's 1 point on the board for you.
Thank you.
Next question. Invented by gynecologist Dr. Barhout in 1956. Am I talking about Yemen's well of Barhout or the artificial neovaginal reconstruction?
I have to tell you, Tom, I am leaning one way, but the doctor's last name is making it difficult.
Can be tough.
The doctor's last name sounds an awful lot like a hole in Yemen.
I don't know if that's intentional.
Yeah, it's very.
That may make it difficult.
You know what I'm going to say though? I'm going to go with the artificial neovaginal reconstruction at the risk of having some real egg on my face.
I am delighted to tell you that you are correct. The
Yes!
fact that it was a gynecologist, I would have hoped would have had some kind of impact on your decision.
It did, but it's holes all around.
You never know. You never can't tell with these things. Maybe spelunking was a hobby of his. It's tough to say. Question number 3. First explored by the Oman Cave Exploration Team, OCET for short, who reached the bottom on September 15th, 2021. I know you had announced that you knew of some goings-on recently. Was this one of those things that you were aware of?
That was indeed the thing. And I want to make it, so I will say Yemen's well of Barhout, but I want to make it clear when, we were worried, we're saying, oh, it's a gynecologist, you would think it would be a little more obvious. I want to push back a little bit on that. Indiana Jones was a history professor, and he was swashbuckling, whip-smacking, gun-toting, fedora-donning adventurer. So, finding a hole in the desert
it does not require.
Does not sound like something a gynecologist wouldn't do.
All right. You have made your point, and I accept it. Duly noted. Okay. Okay, here's a tough one. Also known. All right, am I talking about the well of Barhout, or an artificial neovaginal reconstruction when I say that it is also known as a penile skin inversion vaginoplasty with or without scrotal skin grafting? And I repeat that. Also known as a penile skin inversion vaginoplasty with or without scrotal skin grafting. Am I talking about Yemen's well, or am I talking about a male to female transgender's vagina?
In the articles I read, Tom, they said there was, the locals said there was a particular odor. And the explorers claim to have found snakes with no color.
So which one are you thinking? Which way are you leaning?
This might be in spite of my better judgment, but I'm going to go with the artificial neovaginal reconstruction.
You are correct.
Wow. I did not see that one coming. A whole river of snakes. It could have been a pussy. You know what I mean?
And I thought you were going to steal one of my jokes there, which is why I wanted to interrupt you. And I want to reach out to the audience here. Mike in Manitoba actually said both holes sound scary. And it sounds like we're talking about Trudeau here. Because if you didn't know, Mike in Manitoba, I don't know if you know where he's from.
Manitoba.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you do know him. Okay.
Well, he used to hang out in the FOJ live shows after we had you on.
That's right.
So
I forget.
For sure.
Mike, that's the thing about Mike, is he's like he's so loyal to his friends. Like, he's the truest of friends. He will stick it out with you. If he'd come to Skinwalker tapes too. Like, and he'd tune in or whatever if I was going to be on there and talking shit or whatever. He'd pop in. So let's move on. I'm going to get to the tougher questions, because the next question, and I think you would have gotten it, complications include prolapse, stela formulation, stenosis, and colitis. That one would have been the male to female neovaginal reconstruction, but
Okay.
I know you would have known that or whatever. It's a little tough, but I think based off of our discussion,
what was the last thing? Colitis.
Colitis, yeah, colitis. You
Did
can
you
get colitis.
did you know that when that happens to artificial neovaginal reconstruction, the tool that is used to be inserted and fix the problem is called a kaleidoscope?
That can't be right. What good is a kaleidoscope going to do in there? Come on. All right. It's a pair of scissors is what you're thinking of for a colitis. I think colitis is when the skin grows together inappropriately. I don't know. We might need Superfan to weigh in on that because he's a little more knowledgeable on that sort of stuff than I am. So here's where the questions get really tricky, and I hope we're not putting at risk your near mint condition copy of Kangaroo Jack on video cassette.
Let me tell you, I'm swinging 100%. So depending, I don't know how many I have to get right. But I'm 100% right now.
Every one of them you have to get right.
My goodness.
So be prepared.
This is high stakes. Okay? High stakes.
Yeah. And I want you to think outside the box on this one, okay? Because I want you to win. There's no benefit to me keeping you from the Kangaroo Jack. So I want you to win it. You know, the producers, we've already factored it into the budget. In fact, I got with the guy from SDNY who reached out on Fiverr, and he found, he was the one who found the gift.
He's like, "Good day, mate. I got this didgeridoo.
Good day, mate. I've got put down your dingo. I've got some news for you." So, like I said, I want you to think outside the box for these next ones. Now, am I talking about Yemen's Well of Barhout, or am I talking about the artificial neovaginal reconstruction when I say that it is nicknamed the Well of Hell?
You know what? I was thinking it has to be the vagina. Because it's just too funny for a male gynecologist not to do. But every article I've read has that in the title. I can't read it. Yes? No, it's all blurry. It's all blur. I'm gonna have to. Oh, you're texting me. Oh.
I don't think that was me texting you.
It was actually. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. I'm going to go with both.
Correct. Very good.
Okay.
Whoever, I don't know, what last minute thing impacted your decision that made you think, you know what? It was both.
Yeah.
But you are correct.
It was a text message from across the border.
Oh.
Yeah,
from Yemen.
Which one?
From Yemen, probably.
Yeah. It was a Yemenese gynecologist.
So, was his name Dr. Barhout? All right, so nicknamed the Well of Hell. Your answer is both the vaginal reconstruction as well as Yemen's Well of Barhout. Mm-hmm. You'd be correct. Both are nicknamed the Well of Hell. Now. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into some tougher ones, a little bit more specific. Has a circular entrance that measures about 30 meters wide at the surface and 112 meters deep. Am I talking about the Well of Barhout or the artificial neovaginal reconstruction?
Andre the Giant is dead. Sean Bradley and Manute Bol, I believe, are also dead. So I'm going to go with... You said more specific, so I can't say both again.
Well, no.
Oh, both. Yeah, obviously. I'm sorry. You said... That's the only thing that had me stopping from saying both, because it was specifics. So I thought, all right.
When I say specific, I mean I'm going to include some like actual metric data, right?
I see. Gotcha.
But I want you to know. But yeah, if both is what you're going with, you would be correct. It is both. Both.
Yes.
The artificial neovaginal reconstruction and Yemen's well of Barhout are 30 meters wide on the surface and 112 meters deep. Now, all right. Here's some geography. Is it geology? Geology. I hope you're up on your geology. Known for the growth.
My nickname used to be Dirt McGirt.
Dirt McGirt. Well, then you'll appreciate this one. Known for the growth of stalagmites, stalactites, cave pearls, and other rocky formations.
Okay. See, it's well, hold on. It's not, because on the one hand, a brand new artificial neovaginal reconstruction may not have all of those attributes, but I would also say after a weekend they would. So you know what? I'm going to go both. I'm risking it. I'm going both.
You're correct. Your risk was well placed, because
I guess
both.
You know what? When you have an artificial neovaginal reconstruction,
you know these things.
You don't waste time. You don't waste time using it, and that's where you get your cave pearls.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
Packed with dead birds. Am I talking about Yemen's well of Barhout, or am I talking about an artificial neovaginal reconstruction?
I think I'm gonna have to go with both. I'm gonna go with both.
You're correct. Man, those things are lousy with dead birds. All right. Question number 10. There's only 4 more. Okay.
All right.
And I think you figured it out by now. There is little oxygen or light and no ventilation at the bottom.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
I'm gonna go with both. You're going with both.
Nailed it. Okay.
Yes.
Question 11. According to folklore, it was created as a prison for jinn.
You know, in the article I read, the researchers found no jinn.
Oh, that's a shame.
And so part of me wants to say artificial neovaginal, because if you didn't find it in Barhout, then it has to be. I mean, why would the locals lie about it?
You never know. You're going to have to go with your gut on this one. Did you want to phone a friend?
Oh, I have no friends. Wait. I'm going to go with both.
Okay, well, you nailed it. Both is the correct answer.
Okay.
Question number 12. Of 13, you're very close to winning
this is incredible.
This mint condition copy of 1457 value.
Wow.
In case anyone can't see that. 1457 value. Kangaroo Jack video cassette tape. It will. Now, here's the thing. You can walk away now. For this near mint copy, now, you'd be foregoing the Kangaroo Jack mint condition, right? 1457 value. For an opened near mint copy of Beverly Hills Ninja on video cassette. Rewound.
Goodness. Wow, rewound. You don't find that.
Can't beat that.
You know what? I'm gonna keep. You know what? I'm gonna keep playing.
Okay.
Because Farley has gotten so much attention of late, and people have forgotten about Kangaroo Jack, and I think it's about time I carried on his name, his legacy.
Your funeral. Your funeral.
My neovaginal funeral.
Yep, your neovaginal reconstruction. It will, according to superstition, suck in nearby objects. Am I talking about Yemen's well of Barhout or artificial neovaginal reconstructions?
Wow. I mean, the laws of thermodynamics say that it should be the well. But we also know, and Tom, I think from your experience, if a person with a vagina needs a ride home, that vagina will suck in anything in its
no doubt. Yeah.
periphery. So, does the artificial neovaginal reconstruction have the same power as a true pussy would? And I'm gonna, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with both. I'm going both.
Okay. Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. You're correct. It is both.
Yes.
Both Yemen's well of Barhout and artificial neovaginal reconstructions will, in fact, according to superstition, suck in nearby objects. Okay, so you're going to be careful around both.
Right.
All right,
That's
final question.
Hanging over the side.
Now, final question is I have to talk you at this point. This is kind of like in those moments where like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they really try to push it on you, or like what's that briefcase game where they gotta make a deal?
Yeah,
I gotta try to deal or no deal you here.
Okay.
If you're right on this final question, before I even give you what it is, this is what's on the line. Okay.
Yeah.
Put this. Can I put this here? Yeah, there we go.
There's the amount of sunglass cool on that one section.
He's got a Brooklyn sweatshirt, zip-up sweatshirt on. I don't know if you've ever seen that on a kangaroo, but that's what this movie's about. You know that?
Can I also tell you that for this time period, it's one of the few movies with an anthropomorphic animal that doesn't star Whoopi Goldberg in one way or another.
I didn't know that. I did know. Yeah. I am aware of the film Madagascar. I want to say that. Now right. You've already taken this.
Cost it.
We're not even worried about Beverly Hills. Now,
right.
Kangaroo Jack, if you get it right. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to pretend like that's not a grand prize. Because that is a grand prize. That's something that I think we all want. If I could take it home right now, I would, believe me. We're not in my home right now. This is not something I picked up today physically and have held in my hands. But I will tell you, in its mint condition, still in its wrapper, I can get you. If I can get you to walk away, I'd like to make a deal with you. Are you willing to make a deal with me, or at least consider a deal with me?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
If you recall, the year was 1996. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones. Okay.
Right.
VHS cassette. Men in Black. Is it rewound or not? You tell me.
No.
It is.
It is? Oh, okay. The print is too small. Yes, it is. Okay.
Men in Black. And you know what? To sweeten the deal? 1993 Academy Award winner, Al Pacino. Scent of a Woman.
Wow.
VHS cassette.
Huh.
Is it
Can we
rewound?
ask the audience? Can we get a number one?
Not quite rewound all the way. looks like someone hastily returned it. Do we want to ask the audience? Is that what you want?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd like to see what they think. Like, can we get a number one for Kangaroo Jack, or number two for what you're selling me now?
Yeah. Kangaroo Jack, drop a number 1 in the chat. Men in Black 1 and Scent of a Woman, drop a number 2. And help Jerry make a decision. Okay? Until then, we're going to give you 10 seconds to decide. Let us know what you think Jerry should do. Until then, how do you feel so far, Jerry? What do you think of this? What do you think?
Well, you know what I've been distracted by? I've been
that?
thinking about that guy in the picture again. And what I'm thinking is, do you think he had an artificial neovaginal reconstruction and the Yemen well of Barhout sucked in his new pussy into its earth pussy?
Is earth pussy, is that something, and I'm going to tell you this right now, Jerry. I don't like the word pussy.
Wow.
I don't.
Oh,
You would think a disgusting human being like myself who uses every profane word in the book. Now, let me clarify. I don't like the word pussy when referring to a vagina. I think it's filthy. I think it's disgusting, and I don't think there's any place for it in dialogue at all. However, I, as a patriot, as someone who respects the freedom of speech, I will still laugh when people use the word pussy because I think it's funny in that regard. But I personally would never, under any circumstances, refer to the vagina as a pussy. It makes me physically uncomfortable. But I just wanted to put that out there. But earth pussy, do I make an exception for that? Maybe. Maybe, because it's silly. But I will call someone a pussy because calling someone a pussy is short for pusillanimous, I believe is the term. So when you refer... Yeah, if you call someone a pussy, you're referring to that word, pusillanimous, which is an adjective referring to somebody as being a coward. So
I thought that was a prehistoric dinosaur that was in the land before time that I probably earned during my reading club in 5th grade, and I got my personal pan pizza plus a land before time Pussiosimus or whatever you just said.
You are thinking of a Pachycephalosaurus. So let's go back to the chat here. We have the results are in. Mike in Manitoba said go for the Kangaroo Jack. Megabit said go for. He said take what you've got and run, because that's a dad right there. All right.
Yeah.
Megabit, he's a dad. He knows where the responsible decision is. He knows that sometimes you got to go. You got to take what you got and go home.
It's 2 movies for one.
Smart, yeah, 2 for 1. 1993 Academy Award winner Al Pacino. Remember when he goes, "If I was the man I was 30 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place." Remember, that's what he says. In the final scenes, great scene, great speech that he gives, but he's not a snitch. Remember that? Great scene. Smart move. I think that would be. I personally, but I have to remain, distance
you
from
have
this.
To stay neutral. Yeah.
Right. But I think Megabit's got a point. But then we've also got Hair Ginger. He says go for the Kangaroo Jack. Your face asks a very reasonable question. Is Kangaroo Jack vaccinated? The answer is no. Okay.
Wow. Unexpected considering the Australian heritage.
Yep. Do what you can with that. Well, you understand Australia is going through some very interesting stuff right now with the quarantine camps and everything. So let me. I'm just gonna walk away from this conversation. I'm gonna push away completely, and I'm gonna put it on you. What do you think? Where's your head at?
There's. Do you remember you mentioned Batman earlier, and there was a story when Michael Caine and Christian Bale were discussing the motives of the Joker. And Michael Caine told the story of how he was in Africa and they were trying to do whatever they were doing. And he said, we would hand out these gems beautiful, expensive gems all over the place. And this one guy would just take it and throw it and, you know, not give a shit.
Hmm.
And it was like, what's precious to one is what, you know, is a joke to the other kind of thing.
Sure.
In my head. And I think that it's time that Kangaroo Jack went from joke to precious. And I'm going to go with Kangaroo Jack.
I respect that decision.
All right, good.
I try to not laugh. I'm trying to take this very seriously because it's a very serious thing.
Well, but I'm taking it seriously. What I mean?
No, I respect that, and I highly respect. So here's I wish my final question would have been funnier. It's unfortunately it's not.
Okay, all right.
But it is a tough one. Okay, could go either way because realistically, I think the answer, no matter what you say here, I could say you were correct, and I think everybody at home would believe it. Right. Because it's such a... But there is one correct answer. So you've got a 33% chance, right? 33.3. Right. Repeating, of course.
Yeah.
Question number 13. For Kangaroo Jack, a $14.57 value. Those who are familiar with it believe that it is bad luck to even talk about it. Am I talking about Yemen's well of Barhout? Or am I talking about the artificial neovaginal reconstruction of a male to female transgender? Jerry, you make your decision.
I just need a minute. I'm talking to God. That's intense. Just to even look at it while I'm thinking. That's intense. You know what? You know, sometimes when you go to Vegas, you got to ride the sevens. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
And I'm going to say both.
I don't think it would be fair for me to just say whether you were correct or not.
Yeah. Wow. There it is.
Boom.
Holy crap.
Both.
I can't believe this. I never win anything. This is... I mean, you know, I won my wife's hand in marriage. I won the fertility game with the kid. Yeah, sure, but...
What'd you just win today? Kangaroo Jack? I've never seen this happen. In one time of playing this game, I've never seen this happen. It's the first time I've ever seen this happen. It's good to see. It's good to see you finally. Good to see somebody finally win Kangaroo Jack on VHS cassette.
I mean, I feel honored, and I want to just thank the chat. You know,
they believed in you.
They believed in me, most of them, except for wait a minute,
Who was
Megabit.
It? Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Megabit, huh?
Yeah, Megabit with his scent of a woman. Look, I realize Vincent D'Onofrio hasn't exactly swung and hit a home run a lot lately, and that makes you feel a bit more fondly about Men in Black. Let me tell you something.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that film.
Yeah. It's Kangaroo Jack.
I don't know why you're picking on Vincent D'Onofrio when he's been in like long-running Law and Order. What's the thing that he was in all the time?
SVU? No, SVU.
He was not in SVU. No, sir. He was in the one with the monkey woman.
Yeah, it was Law and Order.
Criminal Minds? Criminal Justice?
I think it was only rapes.
No, SVU was a different guy. That was Spangler.
Oh.
He's now he's now in organized crime. I don't know if you know this, but I just recently learned this today. He's in Spangler. He is no longer with the hot one from SVU. He's now doing organized crime units. So, and he's got like this goatee, right? So this is what he looks like, right? He's got a very thick goatee.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just...
I don't like it.
No. It's totally different. You know what it really reminded me of as I was
Intent,
watching it?
That's what we're
That's the one. You know what he really reminded me of when I was watching and I was thinking about Spangler and the journey that he's taken? I thought of the video game Splinter Cell. Remember?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I remember the game, sure.
Yeah. He went from one thing to another, and now he's on this whole other thing, Blacklist, where he was the bad guy. Yeah. Double Agent. You know, Spangler, he's kind of taken he's gone from one thing to another, and it's very interesting.
When I think of Spangler,
it's fun to see that.
I think of two things.
I would imagine you think of Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah,
so three initially. Things.
Yeah, first. But I would say, did you ever watch that show where Patton Oswalt was the donkey voice in his head? You ever heard of that show?
Oh, yeah. That's a different guy, I think.
No, he's the guy from SVU.
No, I don't think that's right. I think that's a different guy.
He's the guy who was in What Hot American Summer, and he had sex with the soup can.
No, you're thinking of somebody completely different. Who's I don't remember. See now, let me see. Law and Order,
right?
SVU, obviously very heinous, terrible stuff. Who's the guy's name? Christopher Maloney is the guy's name. He was in. You know what popped up as I was clicking that? This picture of somebody working out. And I want to say this. I want to say something. I've been... You know, a lot of you know me as Fat Tom, is what you call me in the chats.
Wow.
And when you say these funny jokes about, oh, Fat Tom, Fat Tom. You have like these rhymes that you like to say about me. But here's the thing. I've actually been exercising a great deal lately to prepare for the upcoming Armageddon, right? And then for disclosure of aliens. So I've been actually training a great deal. And you know what it was? I'll tell you what. When you told me about Pop Squad, and every time I heard the guy say, stay outside my arm's reach, I wanted to be that guy who was like, because I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that people stayed outside of my arm's reach because they didn't want to get their ass beat, right? Because I could, and they knew it just by looking at me. And then I lost all that because I got fat. I really did, and I did. I don't know if I should start another channel about my weight loss journey, but I have started exercising a great deal because I want to be that guy
you
again.
Had me at butt fat.
right. That's the channel that I'm going to start. You had me at 5% BMI or whatever. But no, I want to be that guy again who, like, when people see me, I don't have to say, you want to stay outside my arm's reach. I want people to just instinctively stay outside of my arm's reach again. So that's what I started working out again. And plus, and here's where we get to the, we're in the last 10 minutes of the episode, and, it's the 100th episode. We should bestow upon the viewers some kind of information that they can take, and that's always been our thing, right? That's always been our thing, you and me, Jerry, right? I'm just going to totally dismiss Dustin originally, and then V for like 80 episodes, which let me suck V's. Oh, no, you were right. It was Happy. He was the guy. That was the guy you were talking about.
And he was
you
also
were right.
What Hot American Summer.
I don't know why I challenged you.
Well, you haven't had enough history with me, You were like, true. Oh wow, so you could tell me what an artificial neovaginal.
So you know what an artificial vaginal reconstruction is? Big freaking whoop. But no, you were right. You're right. That's the guy. And I often confuse him. There was a movie I watched with 50 Cent where there was a guy who kind of looks like him who was also in it. Anyways, there's another guy out there who looks a lot like him with a goatee. So who looks just like him like this. But anyways, I digress. So to suck V's dick a little bit here real quick, I will say this about V. And this will be the last thing I say about V. And I'm going to say it like I'm angry at him, and I'm not. Like, he and I are still tight. But, no, V, he came along when I needed somebody to step in and temporarily be the co-host on the show. And he stepped in with the intention of being the co-host for like a couple episodes until I could find someone better. And then he ended up being the co-host for 80 episodes almost. So I have nothing bad to say about V. He is one of my very best friends for years and years and years. Almost, 15, 20 years now. And so I would never say anything bad about him, and I wish him the best. He's got a lot of big things. I hope that you follow, even if it means going on and ignoring us or whatever, and following V's career. I anticipate big things from V, and I hope for big things for V, because he's going back and he's doing some stuff with institutional learning, going on and furthering education, institutional education. So it's very cool stuff that he's doing. He's doing big things. He's making big changes in his life. And I, for one, am incredibly supportive. When he said that he wanted to move on, I didn't argue with him. And I think he expected me to argue with him, and I didn't. I said, no, you did more than I ever expected you to do, and I appreciate it. Goodbye. Your leaving does not hurt me. I wish you would stick around forever, but I know that you have other stuff that you've got to do. And he did. He went on and he's doing his own thing, and I'm very happy for him. And I hope that you will join me in saying, and in wishing the best of V and all the great things that he has going on in the future. And one day, I maintain that I will see his name on the silver screen, on the little screen, on the big screen, on all sorts of screens. I will see his name up in big letters. And anything that I can do to support him, I will. And I hope that you will all do the same. Anytime that V reaches out to you and says, hey, can you do me a solid? I hope that you will do him a solid. And beyond that, I forget where I was going to go after that. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had some kind of like learning experience, right? So with wives and exercising and stuff like that. And I had joked about my intention was to get back to a point where people just instinctively avoided me because they didn't want to get within an arm's reach of me, which is what you should always want to be as a man. You should, for your wife, she should always want to be within that circle. For your children, they should always want to be within that circle. For your neighbors, your close friends, they should always want to be near that circle because they know that you will get in front of them. But for anybody who doesn't know you, or anybody who isn't within those particular whatever groups, they want to avoid that circle. Certainly the enemies of you and your family would want to avoid that circle because they do not want to get within an arm's reach of you. And there was another thing that I thought about, and this was some time ago. I was thinking about husbands and wives being an investment, right? You invest in your wife.
Yes.
Because you expect that they will do this, this, and this. You have certain expectations of your wife. You expect that they will be a loving wife. You expect that they will be true to you. You expect that they will bear you children. Whatever it is. Maybe you don't expect any one of those things, but you expect certain things of your wife.
Yes.
Likewise, you as a man, because typically that's who's listening to this show, is men. So demographics-wise, based on what I have looked at the analytics, it's mostly men. If you are a man and you have a wife, or you have a fiance, or you have a serious girlfriend, or you are looking to what you need to do as a man, there are certain expectations of you as a man, fiance, husband, serious boyfriend, whatever. And your wives, or these female partners, are expecting of you certain things. They are investing in you as you invest in them. So there's a certain expectation that you will be an appreciating asset. The physical body will wear away. We all know that as human beings, right? We know that your physical body will wear.
Right.
However, you could do your best to combat that, right? Just because your physical body is going to wear away over time, or is going to age, or is going to whatever word you want to use, just because your body is going to wear away doesn't mean that you can't do your best to slow that down, to make it last a little bit longer than it would have if you just let it go. Because I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys who just let it go. I started eating junk food late at night. I would drink a soda at night. I would not drink as much water. I hardly ever exercised. And it got to a certain point where I realized that I needed to be a better investment for my wife, because my wife invested in me as a 19-year-old. See, I screwed up, right? I met my wife when I was 19. She invested in me when I was 19, when I was in the prime of my life, when I was, in fact, working my way up to my prime in life. And Mike here says, to find and marry the right woman, first you have to be the right man, is what Dad in Manitoba said. So, yeah, you have to continue to try to be your best. Now, if you met the right woman, she's going to know that you're trying, and that you're not necessarily your best, but that you're actively trying to be that good person for her. But that's a big reason why I started working out again. My wife had been exercising a great deal. She had spent a long time exercising. She goes to Zumba, she goes to strength training, she goes to all this exercise. And I think because she expected, she had birthed for me 3 children, 3 healthy children. And that was my expectation of her. Yeah, and then Jack says, when I come on again and I say the N-word a bunch of times. But I think she recognized, hey, I need to try to get back to something of what my husband, as if I gave a shit. I love my wife. I love her when she was, her 21. I didn't meet her until she was 22 or 23. I loved her at that age and that whatever. And I loved her at her worst, quote unquote, what she considers to be her worst, when she had just birthed our 3rd child. I loved her the same then, and I love her now, because she works and she tries her best to be. She sacrificed her body for me, for our children, and for our marriage. The least I can do is get my butt out of bed and go to the gym, right? So I want you guys to know that, anybody who is listening right now, is if you have a significant other and you think, oh, I'm already married, because this is the joke, right? I'm already married, I've already got kids, it's cheaper to keep me than it is to divorce me, right, and get rid of me. Yeah. That's like the attitude that we have. My wife is out here trying to lose weight because she just had a baby and she wants to feel sexy again and she wants to wear lingerie again or whatever. But you're still sitting here eating ho-hos or whatever at night. I encourage you to do the opposite. I encourage you to also exercise. Not necessarily with her. I don't expect you to go and get into Zumba with her and start doing... Because I would never survive in a Zumba class. I'll be the first to admit it. But while she's in Zumba, you bet your ass I'm in the weight room lifting to muscle burnout or whatever, muscle failure. You better believe I'm in there doing that. And then I go home and I drink a muscle shake. And I take it easy on the junk food that I eat. And I hope that you do the same. And those of you who are married and those of you who are aspiring future married folks and those of you young married folks and those of you megabit, I'm going to call you out by name because I know that you're a young dad. And I was a young dad at one point. And at the time, I had the benefit of being in the Army still. So I was forced to be in a physical condition, right? You're not necessarily forced to be in that position. I encourage you to, if your wife feels like she needs to exercise, go with her. And everybody, I hope that you will see this as... I'm pushing this on all of you because I'm the guy who's all of a sudden like, oh... You should be, you fucking fat asses, right? No, I'm that guy who's all of a sudden like, I knew that, and I blew it off this whole time. But I hope that you will learn from my mistakes, and you will go on, and you will cherish your marriage, and you will also try to be an appreciating asset for your wife who invested in you as you invest in your wives. Jerry, did you have anything that you wanted to say as we close out?
Yeah, I guess on the other hand, if you have a wife who's like, look, I don't like exercising, you know, then just be like, that's cool. Let's not exercise together, but we could do more sexy time and lose weight that way.
Yeah. Oh,
Or,
for sure.
you know, something else. Maybe, yeah, exactly. Try to maybe buy like a Nintendo Wii so it doesn't feel like exercise. I don't know. I was just listening to you the whole time going, man, I need to fucking really get my act together. That's all I kept hearing. So I'm like trying to say something funny while I'm sitting here going, man, I'm like 30 pounds above what I should be. And I fucking hate it or whatever, you know. And that's it. No, I honestly will say that, you know, we joke around here and we talk about a wide range of things to joke about. On the other hand, I don't know, I might even be crazier than Tom in terms of like shit is hitting the fan and it's coming faster than any of us are actually going to be prepared for. So you better do the best you can, because when that big build back better dick slaps you in the mouth, you know what I mean? You get it's going to be a hell of a wake up call for a lot of people that are going to be completely unprepared, and you're going to need to be at about as good as you can be. So, yes, invest in your relationship and all that stuff, absolutely. But let's be real. Food prices are going crazy. Gas prices are going crazy. People are going to start dying. All kinds of crazy shit's going on right now. You don't want to be the guy with your gut jiggling off your, like your dick and gut are flapping like this up against each other as you're running.
Well, that's how I masturbate. I can't run without jacking off.
Dude, that's how you get your exercise in and you're jacking off, you know? Just get on the treadmill.
Jack off. There's like a big old jack off like mark on the back of the couch by my thing. No, so no, Jerry's right. Like there's some stuff going on and we're gonna get into it. I'm hoping that we have time to get into it over the coming weeks. We're starting a series. We didn't get into it today because we got so hung up on Jerry winning this copy of Kangaroo Jack on VHS cassette. But yeah, I am jealous. In fact, I wish I would have been the one who found that copy of Kangaroo Jack. A lot of stuff coming up. We have a big series that's starting next week, and I'm super excited about it. And it's kind of like where I excel, right? I have my theological stuff where I'm going to be able to talk about my theological stuff. Jerry's going to be able to talk about a lot about his survival stuff. And I think we're in a position, we're in a time where both of them are going to meet and be equally as important. And I want you all to know, for the record, and I haven't run this by the wife, but if the time comes and the situation presents itself, believe me, I guarantee she's going to be down for it. If the situation presents itself and you guys ever need, if we come upon this like turn of events in the way the world is going, and you guys need to come together and we need to converge upon one location, old Papa Tom's got you. You guys are more than welcome to converge upon my location, and I have enough arms and survival stuff to get us at least started so that we can create a centralized government within our home, and we can go from there and collect and survive for whatever period of time. And but yeah, just hit me up. If the world decides to end in the next week, hit me up on the side. You guys all have my phone number and my emails and shit. But yeah, if not, we will see you guys all on Wednesday. I'm excited to kick off this new series. And now that we are back in the saddle, back with Jerry, and we're back full swing into this whole thing, we look forward to seeing you next week. Jerry, with that, anything you have to shill?
No, I finally have a job, and this is it. So, I shill. Follow, subscribe, what have you. Also, if you guys congregate elsewhere, I think Tom's mentioned Discord or stuff before. I don't have any other social media, so give me a reason, I guess. I have the Telegram. So if I don't even remember what my name is there. I'll figure out that for next week.
I'll lure him onto the Discord, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't even trip.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So there you go. We don't even need to shill for that. I'm good.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.